What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to show you how to change a dirt bike tire by yourself in your garage. Before I did that, I had to do a burnout on this tire. That's something that you just have to do before you go ahead and put on some new rubber. So my brother was following me in his YZ250F. He has about 3 rides on this tire, and in this clip here you can see he just went up it fine. He didn't get stuck where I was spinning out and I had to get a little bit more momentum. So this is actually the OEM tire on my 2012. It is that old, and so we need to put on some new rubber. First thing that I need to do, I have my 1¼ inch socket along with a breaker bar. We're going to be loosening this bolt here. With that nut out of the way, I have a 10mm and a 12mm wrench. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this nut right here. This is what's used to tighten your chain. So I want to loosen this, try to get this bolt out of the way just a little bit. And with both sides loosened up, I'm going to go ahead and take my rubber mallet and just hit the axle here just to kind of get it to break loose. From there, it might be a little hard to pull this out. I'm going to have to just wiggle it a good bit. You can actually remove these plates right here. You can use these to line up your chain so that way your wheel is perfectly straight and in line. And then that'll give us a little bit more room to go ahead and smack this axle out. All right. So the original tire on my Honda is a Dunlop Geomax, and now I'm going to be installing a Michelin Starcross. So this is something that, actually this is the tire you have, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully this will last about as long as my stock one did.
We've been running the Michelins for a while. Really like them.
Yeah.
They last long and they got really big knobs.
All right, so the first step in being able to change your tires, of course you have to let all of the air out. I have a tool for that that's actually going to pull the stem out. So once I get it locked into place here, of course you could just push on that piece and let the air out slowly, but this is just going to speed up that process. So with that stem now removed from one side, I'm going to go to the other side where this requires a 12mm. There is a bead bolt here, I think that it's called. I'm going to go ahead and loosen that. I'm not going to take it completely off though. I am going to leave it on just for a little bit there. And now I have a couple tools here to use to go ahead and break the seal from the tire and the wheel. I'm going to do this on this side, also on the other side as well. And then if you have a hand, that should help. So we'll go ahead and work on breaking the seal. Once we do that, then we can start taking it off the wheel. Flip it over. Being very careful with the disc on that side. Let's not spin it as much if we can.
We're basically going to use this one tire tool to kind of hook to the bead of the tire and then hopefully flip it up over the actual rim once we get some room in there.
There we go. All right. So that's one side of the tire. So now what I'd like to do is go ahead and remove the inner tube. That's just going to make it a little bit easier, I think, to get the rest of the tire out. So I'm going to do my best to get my hand in between the wheel here and try to find the tube. I've already pushed most of the stem through here. I do need to get that all the way through like I just did. And now I should be able to grab this tube and slowly start to pull it out. There we go. All right, thank you. Yeah, we're getting there. There we go. There we go.
And then here's a good look at the two differences in tread. So, worn, pretty old, and not worn, pretty new.
Huge difference.
I'll move that.
Yep.
I wonder if there's it's like a 2-inch lift kit, look at that.
So the first couple laps on this new tire, I'm definitely going to want to take it easy, get this broken in. So now comes the even more fun part. If you thought that was hard, getting the new rubber onto this is going to be much harder. So we're just going to take a few minutes just to clean up the wheel, make sure everything is nice. There's a lot of dirt on the inside that I just want to remove. One more thing that I'm doing on the inside, where the tire is actually going to sit against the inside of the wheel, it is pretty dirty there. So I have my wire brush here, and that's going to help remove pretty much all of this, so that way we have a good seat between the tire and the inside of this wheel. So now it's time to start the reassembly process. So I have my new tube here. If you're looking to reuse your tube, just be more careful than I was. I did put a hole in it, so it is effectively useless, but that's why I have my new tube. So we are going to fill this up just a little bit with air. That way it retains its shape, and we can check if there are any leaks in this new tire. So I'm not going to fill it up all the way, but just enough to get it to hold. So that's pretty good. Like I said, just so you can see the shape of it, and you can check for any defects or anything in that. So our next step is we are going to line both the inside of the tire and the entire tube itself with some baby powder. And the purpose of this is to allow the tube to freely spin within the tire for the install. So if there's a dry spot on the tube itself, it might get stuck on the inside of the tire if there's a dry spot inside the tire, and then when you're inflating it, that could cause a rupture or a tear or something like that. So this is just going to make it easier for the install. So now it's time to install this into the tire itself. We're going to do this before we start putting the tire on the actual wheel. And so like I said, it's going to help it slide a little bit better for the install here. So everything goes in nice and smooth just like that. And now the hardest part that we're going to have to deal with is putting the tire on and with this plastic piece right here. So the tire has to sit on one side, of course, and then on the other side. I think that's where we're going to start. Yeah. And that's just going to be the hardest part. The other hard part is not puncturing the new tire or the new tube for the tire. So we've got this funky tool that I went ahead and attached to the valve stem itself. So without puncturing anything, I'm going to do my best to push this through. This is basically our guide for getting the valve stem through the hole. There we go.
Yeah.
Dude, you know that, aside from hopefully the wheel is not, what do we call it? The tube is not popped. That wasn't too bad. So let's go ahead and give it some air.
All right, let's do like 30.
All right.
And then hopefully we can seat the bead, because right here it's a little low. And then once it's all seated, we can tighten up this piece right here. And it should be in pretty good shape.
All right guys, so we have now completed the tire. We put the valve stem cover back on. Still have some baby powder. I'm just gonna let that kind of wear off as normal. But now, of course, we have the reverse steps for putting this back on. We'll go ahead and get that done. And there you have it. We have my new tire for my dirt bike. Hopefully that was a good video if you guys want to tackle this at your house and do it yourself, have a little bit of a learning experience. It's pretty fun. Overall, I'd probably say it's like a 7 or 8 on a 1 to 10 scale. Just take some patience, and definitely having a second hand will make it that much easier. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button if you want to see more of our daily uploads. We'll see you guys in the next video.